Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving deep into what is, without a doubt, the most essential building block for any automated trading strategy in MQL5, arrays. You know, if you want your bot to really understand market history and make smart decisions, you've got to master how it stores and handles data. And it all starts right here.
Have you ever just stopped and wondered how an expert advisor can churn through just massive amounts of price data? I mean, it's sifting through thousands of bars, indicator values, and making these split-second trading decisions. How in the world does it manage all that information without just grinding to a halt?
Well, the answer isn't some super secret, complex algorithm, at least not at its very core. It's all about how the bot organizes the data that's flowing in. And that entire foundation, the whole thing, is built on one simple but incredibly powerful idea: the array. Okay, so here's our game plan for today. We're going to start with the basics, what an array even is and why it acts like a little data center for your trading bot. Then we'll get into the two main flavors, static versus dynamic. From there, we'll get our hands dirty with memory management, super important for keeping your bot speedy. We'll look at how to sort and search for key data, and then we'll get to the real magic, handling time series data so your code actually thinks like a trader. So first things first, let's make sure we're all on the same page. Forget about code for just a second. I want you to think of an array as a special kind of container, kind of like a long, numbered list that can only hold one type of thing. For us, that might be something like the closing prices of the last 100 candlesticks. Now, for the official definition, MQL5 says an array is a collection of variables of the same type, and that same type part is really important. You can have an array of prices or an array of times, but you can't mix them together. It's the strict, organized structure that lets your code just fly through historical data or indicator values or even a list of your open trades. All right, but not all arrays are created equal. MQL5 gives you two main types to work with, static and dynamic. And believe me, knowing when to use each one is absolutely crucial for writing code that's both efficient and doesn't have a bunch of weird bugs. And here's the core difference. It's all about flexibility. A static array, that's like a pillbox. It has a fixed number of compartments, and you decide that size right from the start. A dynamic array, on the other hand, is more like one of those expandable file folders. Its size isn't set in stone, which means it can grow or shrink whenever your program needs it to. And for trading, well, that flexibility is a massive advantage. The MQL5 system was really built with this in mind. It handles all the complicated, behind-the-scenes work when you create a dynamic array. This makes them super powerful, but still easy to use, especially for data that's always changing, like price history, which, gets a new bar with every single tick. Now, all that flexibility with dynamic arrays is amazing, but it does come with a bit of responsibility. You, the developer, need to be the one who manages its size and memory. And getting this right, it's a critical skill that separates the beginners from the pros. It's really just a simple three-step lifecycle, but it's so important. First, you declare your empty array. Then, when you actually need to store data, you use a function called ArrayResize to tell the system exactly how much space you need. And then, and this is the part people always forget, once you're done with that data, you use ArrayFree to release that memory back into the wild, so other parts of your program can use it. So why does this matter so much? Because proper memory management isn't just good practice, it's absolutely vital for performance. If you keep resizing arrays and never free up the memory, you create something called a memory leak. And over time, especially with a bot that runs for days, that leak will slow your entire MetaTrader terminal to a crawl, and maybe even crash it completely. Okay, so you've got your data neatly stored in an array. What's next? Well, you need to be able to make sense of it, and fast. Luckily, MQL5 gives us some incredibly powerful built-in functions designed for just that. Let's say you need to find the absolute lowest low from the last 50 candles to place a really tight stop loss. You could write a loop to check every single value, or you could do it the smart way. One single call to the ArraySort function instantly rearranges all your data, and boom, the lowest value is right at the beginning of the array at index 0. It is incredibly fast. And once your data is sorted, you unlock another superpower, ArrayBsearch. Imagine you want to know if the price ever hit exactly 1.12500 in the last 200 bars. Instead of checking every single element one by one, this function uses a lightning-fast binary search. It's by far the most efficient way to check if a specific key level was ever touched. All right, now we're getting to what might be the single most useful array function for any trader. Seriously, this next one is a total game changer because it forces your arrays to think the same way we do when we look at a price chart.
So by default, when you copy, say, 100 bars into an array, the data is indexed from 0 upwards. That means the element at index 0 is the oldest piece of data, way back in the past. And the most recent, current bar that's still forming, that's at the very end, at index 99.
But that's not how traders talk, right? We say the current bar is bar 0, the previous one is bar 1, and so on going back in time. Well, MQL5 gets this. It gives us a simple function, ArraySetAsSeries, that magically flips the entire array's indexing to match the way we actually analyze charts. And check out the result. After just that one line of code, look what happens. Index 0 now points to the newest, most recent bar. Index 1 is the previous one. This simple switch makes your code so much more intuitive. Price 0 now literally means the current price, which is exactly how it ought to be. Okay, let's do a quick recap of the essential tools you've just added to your MQL5 arsenal. These are the functions that are going to be the absolute core of your data analysis from here on out. So here they are, your array superpowers. For anything that changes, like price history, stick with dynamic arrays. Always, always manage your memory with ArrayResize and ArrayFree. Use ArraySort and ArrayBsearch to find key information in the blink of an eye. And most importantly, if you're working with price data, make ArraySetAsSeries your best friend. Master these 5 things and you'll be writing cleaner, faster, and way more powerful trading bots. Now that you have the power to store, manage, and analyze market data like a pro, the only real limit is your own imagination. The patterns are out there, hiding in the data, just waiting to be found. So the real question is, what will you uncover first? Thanks for joining me on The Explainer.